Good evening, folks. We're going to go ahead and kick this off. We've got a few things to go over. I'm going to cover the agenda. So, Liz, I want to call to order December 20th, 2022 election of the officers of the town of Hochatown. This election is now in session.
Time is 6:30.
Purpose of this election is to elect officers to fill 5 seats on the Board of Trustees. We'll also fill 1 town treasurer and 1 town clerk. Those elected will serve unexpired terms through the next regular election, which will be held April 4th, 2023. This election is being held in accordance with the Town Meeting Act, which is codified in Oklahoma State Statute Title 11, Section 16301. Voting in this election will be done using a secret ballot system. The officers will be elected by plurality vote, basically top 5 with the most votes. To be eligible to vote in tonight's election, you will be registered with McCurtain County Election Board at an address located within Hochatown. You must also sign the poll book and receive a ballot. If you have not signed the poll book or do not have a ballot, please raise your hand. Okay, we're going to open up the nominees for Board of Trustees. The first set of nominations will be for the Board of Trustees, and we'll move from there. As I mentioned earlier, there are 5 seats available on the Board of Trustees. Each officer will be elected for an unexpired term through the next regular election, which will be held on April 4th, 2023. To be eligible to serve on the Board of Trustees, each candidate must be a qualified elector by virtue of being a resident and registered voter within the municipality for at least 6 months prior to filing a declaration of candidacy. Okay, I will now open the floor for nominations for the Board of Trustees from registered voters.
Let me just state one rule. If you are running as a candidate, you will need to have signed the candidate affidavit. If you are going to nominate someone who was not here, they will need to have turned in an affidavit in advance of being nominated. So anyone that is going to be announced as a candidate, I will need to already have had an affidavit for. So with that, I think we should first do anyone who is here who would like to run for office that has turned in a candidate affidavit. If you will raise your hand, state your name, and you have 60 seconds to tell the audience about yourself. I will cut you off at 60 seconds. I will be using a timer, so we can keep the meeting. We're not allowed to, when it's ballot time, I'm happy to answer any questions, but since this is, yeah, there's not really a process for asking questions, but if you have a question when you're opening the ballot or filling out the ballot, we're happy to come answer those at that time.
How do you get an affidavit?
They're in the back there. Is there anyone who would like to run that is present that has not signed an affidavit yet? Let me ask that question. Okay.
Who's running?
If you will meet Di in the back corner, we'll let you guys get that filled out.
Here, right here, Wyndham. I've got it here.
Anyone else that would like to fill out a candidate affidavit? Okay, while those folks are doing that, if you are present and you've been a registered voter for 6 months and you've turned in an affidavit, yeah, this one's louder. If you are present and you are registered to vote for the last 6 months and you've turned in an affidavit, please raise your hand and Chad will give you each 1 minute to state your name and why you'd like to, what office you're running for and why you're running for that office. Okay, if you. Okay, if you'll raise your hands, we'll bring the mic to you.
Hello, Hochatown. Is it on? Can you hear me? Hochatown, are you excited to be here? Yeah. A lot of you know me. Can you hear me? I don't like this. A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't. My wife and I, 54 years, and my beautiful wife here. We've been up here about 30 years, been a resident here for a full-time resident 11 years, property owner for 20. We're influx from Texas, came up here, made this our home. I'm glad we're here tonight. Shows all the people that are involved. It's time to make this happen. I want to be a part of it. I hope you trust me. I knocked on a lot of doors and you invited me into your house. Love to see you here. I'm glad you're here. Vote for me or not, but at least let's get this train out of the station and get it down the tracks. Go Hochatown.
And, sir, if you could state for everybody your name and what position you're running.
Howard Haggard, one of the trustees.
Thank you. Okay, next. Please be sure to state your name and which seat you're running for.
All right. I'm Randy Coleman. I'm running for trustee. Everybody, I think in here knows who I am. They know how I love Hochatown. I'm the one that started it in 1993. I was the first one to get everything together. So I've worked on this a long time. I didn't really help these guys a whole lot. Gave a little advice, but I want to tell you, we need to get this thing going. We need to get five good people up here and get this thing where we can govern ourselves. This is why we did this, to govern ourselves. So that's why I'm running. Thank you.
I'm just gonna go through the list so that we make sure we get everybody. Suzanne Myers, right here.
Good evening. I've met most of you. Most of you know me as Susie Q, but my name is Suzanne Myers. My husband Todd Keel and I, we moved up here about 4.5 years ago. We bought property, we bought a home. My husband is on the volunteer fire department, and I work for several of the local establishments in Hochatown. We've made it our home, and it's going to be our forever home. This is an extremely unique opportunity. I believe I would make you a very good board trustee. My background, I spent 25 years in the corporate world, basically primarily in office management and human resources. So I figured with my experience, my skills, we're gonna need budgets, we're gonna need planning, and we're also gonna need help hiring. So I do have that skill set, and I look forward to serving all of you and being your voice on the board, because I do believe in transparency, and it's your money. You wanna know where it's being spent, you need to know the questions of why and how, and I would appreciate your vote tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Wenda Blankenship. And if you could state at the front which position you're running for. Which position?
I'm Wenda Blankenship, and I'm running for trustee. Married to Steve Blankenship, a transplant since 1992, thanks to him, and invested in Hochatown since 1999. Yeah, 23 years ago, we've been invested in Hochatown. I would like to run basically as a business owner, as a resident, and my heart is to serve, and to serve this community in any way possible. I'm excited about where we've come and excited about where we're going. So I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Rustin Wheeler. Rustin, R-U-S-T-I-N, Wheeler. And if you could state which position you're running for.
Trustee, I'm Rustin Wheeler. I have been a member of this community since 2009, and I'm a property owner, a business owner, and I really have the best interests of the community in mind, and I really want to see the community do well, and I want to see progress, and I want it to be done the right way, and have open minds, and just do whatever's best for this town.
Oh, yeah, sure. Guys, it's an honor to be standing here today. We've we've ushered in a, defining moment in Hochatown, and so it's been a long road for, I think it's been close to 7 years we've been in this fight, against, a proponent that was, wanting to run Hochatown for us. And so, no pun intended, but we fought hard for 7 years, and we fought really on the back of the people that fought 30 years ago. But we were able to do it in a more financial, stronger financial position, so it's been great to be there every single day for 6.5 years. I would love to be a part of this huge beginning of building Hochatown. Now, I've been here for 21 years, me and my wife. We built several businesses in Hochatown. One of them is, it's probably one of the hardest things we've ever done. We built a restaurant 21 years ago that, you know, we started during a time where Hochatown was really starting to take off. And, you know, we went through, I'd say 7, 8, 9 years of struggle. And so it was a process of, you know, being really persistent and staying active. And so, getting to know the residents and the people in this community has been great. And I feel like with my experience and knowledge of Hochatown that, I'd love to be a part of helping it grow. And I think that either way we go, whoever gets voted into these 5 positions, I think we ought to all support them and stand behind them. Because, you know, I know a lot of faces here that have been around for 7 years while we've been fighting this. And some that I knew that were around back in the early 90s. So, you know, do what's best for you guys, follow your heart, but just know that if I'm elected, that I'll put my heart and soul into Hochatown like I have for 21 years. So, thank you.
Candace Farley. And if you could state which position.
Running for Board of Trustees. My name is Candace Farley. Most of you know me as Candy. Live in the area, worked in the area for years. We came a long way, and I just want to be a part of what we were doing and progress our town and our community and set some boundaries and take care of what we've got and make everything we have a little bit better. Thank you.
Janet Press.
Hey, I'm running for trustee, and Janet Press, I'm owner of Beaverton Lodging, and Janet's Treasure Chest. I've been back in Broken Bow. I was raised here. I'm a local from Sweet Home, and moved away, had a great career in hotel restaurant management, and moved back 20 years ago. Bought Last Resort Cabins, and been here ever since. One of the things that I have done in Hochatown, and I've done it since 2010, was Hochatown Beautiful, which is the trash pickup effort that a lot of you guys helped me take care of. That program is rewarding, but it's more frustrating. It's a lot of work and takes a lot of time, even though you don't realize that it does take a lot of time. And so what I want to say to you today is, I put my heart and my soul into that program. I work it every day, and that's what I'll do for you here. So, thank you.
We're taking the nominations of the trustees and the treasurer and the clerk separate. So if I call your name and you're running for a different position, let me know, because that will be later. Brenda Walters.
So I'm Brenda Reesner Walters, and I'm running for trustee. And I think most of you know me, but maybe for some of you who don't, my family has a lifelong connection to Hochatown. There's a point on the lake named Reesner's Point after my family. Was born in Idaho, worked my working career in Broken Bow for a number of years. Was a career banker. Also was adjunct professor for Southeastern University, and I worked for some time as a chief development officer at our county hospital. So lots of different business experience. I have experience with city government, first as a banker, helping finance city projects, also as a community volunteer, writing over $800,000 of grants for the city of Broken Bow. And as an advocate for change with the city of Broken Bow, where we sometimes didn't meet eye to eye. Part of that was trying to get Broken Bow to become a little more progressive and welcome tourists. And at some point in my frustration, I stood in front of those men and I told them, I said, you guys are gonna sit here and watch Hochatown flourish, and then Broken Bow's gonna die on the run. So when they annexed Hochatown, or attempted first to annex Hochatown, that's when I got involved. But my thoughts were, you don't have the right to sit back there and wait for entrepreneurs to build this community and then try to come take it. Like Janet, I come from a family of community involvement. This town, I've lived here since part-time, 23 years, full-time since 2013. Started my own business here, and Hochatown has been given me much both personal and business success. And I would like to be able to give back to our new community and use my knowledge of city government and business practices to help as everyone else get us started on the right foot. So I welcome your vote.
Diane Jordan?
I think you can hear me. I've tried to knock on most of your doors. I've been working on this fight for at least the last year hard, and of course the last 6 or 7 years intermittently with everybody else. And I feel like we've birthed an elephant and we don't want to let it go now. And so I'm running for the Board of Trustees so that we can continue to take care of our town, get our ordinances in, and move forward with our community. And I would thank you for your vote.
Is there anyone else who is present who intended to run for the trustee position?
Okay, folks, so the following nominees are not present tonight, but they previously agreed in writing to be nominated and have completed a candidacy affidavit. So the first gentleman we have is Gregory Allen Strange. And if the individual that nominated Gregory could stand up and just tell us a little bit about him.
I hate those things. I wouldn't be a secret for sure. Okay. You good? Yes? Okay. Gregory Strange is retired military. He's on Hochatown Volunteer Fire Department's board. He's had a lifetime commitment to the area, the community. As soon as he retired military, he came back here, and he's very active in the community. There are times, I'm the secretary treasurer or whatever for the fire department, and there are times that he helps me figure out what we need to do on some stuff. He's just very dot the I, cross the T, and very knowledgeable in this type of thing that we're going into. So I'm very proud to nominate Gregory Strange.
Okay, so the next gentleman was unable to be here tonight, and that's probably one of the most hardest working individuals that we've had in the Hochatown Historical Association for the past 7 years. I want to nominate Todd Michael McDaniel. Todd has, just to speak on his behalf, Todd has been involved in this fight for as long as I have, and as long as we've had Liz on our team to push for this Hochatown incorporation. So Todd has put in countless hours. He's got, he's built a great business in Hochatown, and he's a developer and cabin builder, and has been highly involved in the community. And so glad to see Todd continue this fight, because the first 7 years, 6.5, 7 years of this fight was the first stepping stone, and it was a massive stepping stone. So this is a stepping stone for us to continue, get the ball rolling. So definitely keep Todd McDaniel, as a candidate and nominate him. So. Next candidate was unable to be here. Is Lindsay Gaston, and if we could have Sheila stand up and just tell a little bit about Lindsay.
I'm nominating Lindsay Gaston. She has been here in Hochatown with us for about 15 years now. She's a resident and a business owner. Her and her husband have transplanted here from Dallas, but grown up and raised here. She's on vacation. She couldn't be here, but she definitely wanted to get her name out there. Most of y'all might know her if you have kids in Broken Bow School. She is a principal for the Bennett School in Broken Bow, and she would really like to have your vote tonight too.
Okay, guys, so are there any other nominations for Board of Trustees before we wrap this up? All good?
Okay, I will read off the names that have made it to my list. Please let me know if I missed anyone. Randall Coleman, Howard Haggard, Suzanne Myers, Wenda Blankenship, Rustin Wheeler, Chad Sargent, Candace Farley, Janet Kress, Brenda Walters, Diane Jordan, Gregory Strange, Todd Michael McDaniel, Lindsay Gaston. Got everybody? All right, thank you. Yes, I'm gonna tape them up. If we're not voting yet, we'll open the votes here in a moment, so don't worry, we'll post these for you.
Okay, guys, so we're gonna open up the second set of nominations, and that will be for Town Treasurer. As I mentioned earlier, there's one seat available for Town Treasurer. The officer will be elected for an unexpired term through the next regular election, which will be held April 4th, 2023. To be eligible to serve as Town Treasurer, each candidate must be qualified elector by virtue of being a resident and registered voter within the municipality for at least 6 months prior to filing a declaration of candidacy. So we will now open the floor for nominations for registered voters.
We've received, which one are we doing?
Treasurer.
We've received one candidate affidavit for Charles Ward for treasurer, or is there anyone else here who wishes to run for that position tonight? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So, did you say move to appoint, yes, the treasurer by default?
By default, we move to appoint to elect Charles Ward as the treasurer for Hochatown by default.
Do we have a second? And all in favor? Our
Yes.
two officers? That was the easy one. So treasurer will be Charles Ward. Okay?
Okay, guys, the last set of nominations will be for Town Clerk. As I mentioned several times and earlier, there will be one seat available for Town Clerk. The officer will be elected for an unexpired term through the next regular election, which will be held April 4, 2023. To be eligible to serve as Town Clerk, each candidate must be qualified elector by virtue of being a resident and registered voter within the municipality for at least 6 months prior to filing a declaration of candidacy. We will now open the floor for nominations for Town Clerk from registered voters.
We've received one affidavit of candidate for Helen Harden. Is there anyone else present this evening that wishes to run for Town Clerk? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And all in favor of appointing Helen Harden the Town Clerk?
Aye.
Helen Harden is now your Hochatown. You can either fill that portion of your ballot out or leave it blank. We will not be tabulating the votes for treasurer or clerk.
Okay, guys, so you may now cast your votes for officers in this election. We're gonna post up the names here, and, please, reference the list of candidates, write them as you wish, in
You
the
may-
appropriate spaces.
You may only vote for one person one time. You have 5 spaces. It needs to be 5 different names. Okay? Don't vote for Chad 5 times.
Thank you.
It will only get counted once when we tabulate. The ballot box is sealed and it is on the back table in the corner, so after you have your ballots completed, please put them in the ballot box over by our lovely Vanna White back here waving her hand. Yes, thank you. And feel free to come up here if you need to look at the names a little more closely. I'm sorry, I tried to get them all on here.
Okay, guys, so we've got, all the votes tallied. So the following candidates have been elected as officers for the town of Hochatown for the unexpired term through April 4th, 2023. I'm gonna name off all 5 here. First, Diane Jordan. We'll get a round of applause for her. Second, Howard Haggard. Third, Janet Kress. Fourth, Todd Michael McDaniel. And myself, Chad Sargent. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and being a part of this.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Diane, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, we have a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? The election is now concluded.
All right, you too. Thank you.